My family is in the worst mess. Brooke doesn't talk to us. She cut me out. I haven't talked to her for 7 years. She had twins. She didn't tell us. She had a...
Hulk Hogan's wife revealed how their messy family issues pushed her daughter Brooke away. Now that Hulk has passed away, Brooke Hogan is ready to speak out. These are the consequences of everything that has happened. She is now sharing dark family secrets and has even asked to be removed from his will. Let's break it down. Brooke Hogan has chosen to end her years of silence about the abuse and manipulation that shaped her childhood and led her to completely cut off contact with both parents. The most shocking revelation came on March 28, 2025, in response to a tearful video her mother Linda posted just 2 days earlier. Linda's video was a desperate attempt to make herself look like the victim, crying that ...
This is the repercussions of what's happened.
But Linda's public breakdown backfired spectacularly, pushing Brooke to finally share her side of the story through a series of Instagram posts that shook the wrestling world to its core. Brooke's response to her mother's breakdown was quick and devastating. In a detailed 7-slide Instagram carousel, she exposed the truth about her childhood that no reality TV show had ever revealed. Her statement described years of abuse without directly naming the perpetrators, but strongly implied that both parents were involved. The revelations she shared were more shocking than any scripted wrestling storyline could ever be.
It's been 15 or longer years since I got left Hulk Hogan. And my family is in the worst mess. Brooke doesn't talk to us. She cut me out. I haven't talked to her for 7 years, almost 8.
Brooke wrote with the weight of years of suppressed trauma. She revealed that the abuse she suffered frequently turned physical, and shockingly, it didn't always come from the person everyone assumed. This was a major revelation, as many believed Hulk was responsible, but Brooke was implying that her mother, Linda, was actually the primary abuser. The abuse wasn't just physical. Brooke described a long campaign of psychological warfare that began in childhood. She shared that she had received hateful text messages, verbal attacks, and public humiliations that left deep emotional scars well into adulthood. Brooke explained how she had been manipulated into publicly defending her parents' behavior, only to later discover she had been misled and lied to. Perhaps the most heartbreaking part of her statement was her admission that she had been used as a pawn in her parents' toxic relationship. "I've been used as a pawn, a buffer, and treated like I'm downright stupid. No child or human should experience this treatment. It caused my life to crumble." For someone who grew up in the spotlight surrounded by celebrity privilege, Brooke revealed that behind the scenes, her life had been a nightmare. Her most powerful statement came at the end of her post, where she declared her independence from the cycle of abuse that had defined her family for generations. "I have been to therapy. I'm doing the work. I am breaking the chain. It ends with me." This was more than defiance. It was a promise to her children that they would never endure what she went through. Brooke's most shocking decision was to request removal from Hulk's will in 2023 to prevent future legal battles or exploitation. When Hulk passed, leaving behind an estimated $25 million estate, Brooke would inherit nothing. This wasn't a decision made out of anger, but a deliberate choice to prevent family fighting and ensure any future relationship with her parents would be based on genuine love, not money or obligation. Her choice showed that she was committed to breaking the cycle of dysfunction, not just for her children, but for herself. Despite being raised in a world where money and fame held so much value, she chose emotional peace over wealth. The timing of her revelations was no coincidence. Just 2 months earlier, in January 2025, Brooke had given birth to twins, Oliver Andrew and Molly Jean, with her husband, Stephen Alexi. Their birth was kept secret until Brooke announced it on social media, and neither Hulk nor Linda knew about the children. The fact that she named her daughter Molly Jean, including Hulk's middle name, showed that she still felt some love for her father, but not enough to ignore the pain and toxicity of their past. When Brooke posted her cryptic response to Linda's breakdown, she wrote, "This is the repercussions of what's happened." This simple but powerful line summed up years of manipulation and abuse and showed that Brooke had finally refused to carry the burden of her parents' actions. The response to her revelations was immediate and polarizing. Linda lashed out on Facebook, calling Brooke a narcissist like her father and claiming she had only spanked Brooke once, refusing to take responsibility for any of her daughter's pain. Hulk stayed mostly silent, posting a strange video with his new wife, Sky Daily, where they laughed and ate popcorn, brushing off the family drama. This dismissive behavior only validated Brooke's decision to cut ties. Brooke's husband, Steven, also spoke up, defending her and sharing more about the family's dysfunction, including that Hulk had refused to walk Brooke down the aisle at their 2022 wedding, saying, "I don't do weddings anymore." This painted Hulk as someone who had already distanced himself from his daughter long before her public revelations. Perhaps the most shocking part of Brooke's statements was how they shattered the image of the perfect family that their reality show, Hogan Knows Best, had created. The show had portrayed the Hogans as the perfect all-American family, with Hulk as the ultimate protective father, especially when it came to Brooke's dating life and career. But Brooke's testimony revealed a much darker truth hiding behind the cameras.
You guys! Here, let's practice, okay? No. Play the piano with me, Brooklyn. Come on. You guys are like, look.
The show's most memorable moments often highlighted Hulk's playful attempts to scare away Brooke's boyfriends and his pride in her musical career. But now, years later, Brooke revealed that this wholesome image was nothing more than a carefully crafted illusion. The so-called protective father was part of an abusive family dynamic that left deep emotional scars on her. The supposedly tight-knit family was actually a toxic environment where Brooke was used as a weapon in her parents' battles. The gap between the public image and the private reality was so extreme that it forced fans to question everything they thought they knew about the Hogan family. How much of Hogan Knows Best had been real? How much was scripted or edited to create a fake narrative? And how did the producers and network miss or ignore what was happening behind the scenes? The illusion of a strong family finally shattered years later when it came to light that Hulk had been having an affair.
Had so much together, but that's the key. We had so much together, and all of that's just been shot down, and, you know, a lot of water under the bridge there.
This revelation about Brooke being caught in the middle of her parents' divorce gave crucial insight into how she had been used as a pawn throughout her childhood and teenage years. The manipulation and emotional abuse had started long before the public ever learned of the Hogan family's issues. To fully grasp the weight of Brooke Hogan's shocking revelations and her decision to cut ties with her family, we need to revisit the series of scandals that destroyed the Hogan family's public image and created the toxic environment Brooke described in her Instagram posts. These were not just sensational tabloid stories, they were life-changing events that exposed the dark truth behind wrestling's most famous family. The first and most damaging scandal erupted in July 2015 when leaked audio from a 2007 tape revealed Hulk Hogan using racial slurs while discussing Brooke's relationship with a black man. The transcript, published by the National Enquirer, captured Hogan repeatedly using the N-word and making disturbing remarks about his daughter's dating choices. The quotes were shocking and the fallout was immediate. WWE quickly terminated Hogan's contract, removed him from the Hall of Fame, and erased all traces of him from their website and programming. This was a stunning blow, as WWE had built much of its 1980s success on Hogan's persona, but they issued a firm statement emphasizing their commitment to diversity and inclusion, effectively ending a partnership that had lasted for decades. What made this scandal even more heartbreaking was Brooke's response. Despite being the target of her father's racist rant, she publicly defended him.
He's an easy target. This is what this business is all about, and we know.
Looking back at Brooke's defense with the knowledge we now have about the abuse she endured, her words carry a much darker weight. Her decision to excuse her father's racist language and downplay its impact likely wasn't a reflection of her true beliefs about his character, but rather the result of years of manipulation and emotional control that had shaped their relationship since childhood. The racist comments weren't a one-time slip either. More racially insensitive remarks surfaced from 2008 jailhouse phone calls between Hogan and his son Nick, who was serving time after a car crash that left a friend permanently disabled. In those calls, Hogan once again used the N-word and made stereotypical remarks about black people, proving this was a pattern of behavior rather than a single lapse in judgment. Hogan's attempts to repair his image only worsened the situation. In an exclusive ABC News interview, he tried to justify his comments by saying he was suicidal at the time, an explanation that many saw as dismissive and tone-deaf.
That I've been through. This one hit me probably the hardest, and that's a heck of a thing to say, because I've been through a lot of crazy stuff.
He continued.
I was at the lowest point of my life. My personal life was destroyed. I was very mad at my daughter. I was upset over a situation that happened between her and her boyfriend. And I had no idea I was being taped. I was to the point where I wanted to kill myself. I sat in my bathroom by myself when my ex-wife was gone and the kids were gone, and I was completely broken and destroyed. And I said, what's the easiest way out of this? I mean, I was lost.
You were suicidal.
But even in his apology, Hogan revealed unsettling details about his relationship with Brooke. He admitted that his anger during that period was fueled by frustration over Brooke's dating choices, suggesting that much of his rage was directed at controlling her personal life rather than simply being the result of his mental state. This admission only reinforced the picture Brooke later painted of a childhood marked by manipulation, emotional pressure, and being treated as an object rather than an independent person. Instead of repairing his image, Hogan's apology deepened the public's understanding of just how toxic the family dynamic had been all along.
It was the direction of my attack. You know, I was not so mad at her boyfriend, I was mad at her, you know, and she instantly said, I don't even need to forgive you because I'm not mad at you. I love you, you're my...
This admission was deeply disturbing because Hogan was essentially confessing that his racist rants were never about his daughter's boyfriend, but about his anger toward Brooke herself. The racism scandal was directly tied to an even darker chapter in the Hogan family story, the sex tape scandal that had been brewing since 2012. The racist comments came from a 2007 sex tape involving Hogan and Heather Clem, the wife of radio host Bubba the Love Sponge, recorded without Hogan's knowledge. When Gawker Media published parts of this tape in 2012, it triggered a landmark lawsuit that ultimately destroyed the media company. Hogan sued Gawker for $100 million, claiming invasion of privacy, violation of personality rights, and emotional distress. In 2016, a jury awarded Hogan $115 million in compensatory damages and $25 million in punitive damages. The case was later settled for $31 million, but not before forcing Gawker into bankruptcy and shutting it down completely. The most shocking twist came when it was revealed that billionaire Peter Thiel had secretly funded Hogan's lawsuit as revenge for Gawker outing him gay in 2007, adding another layer of manipulation to an already messy situation. The Hogan family's problems didn't end with racism and sex tapes. They have been facing legal trouble for years, starting in 2007 when Brooke's brother Nick was involved in a horrific car crash. At just 17, Nick crashed his Toyota Supra while street racing under the influence, leaving passenger John Graziano with permanent brain damage. Nick served 8 months in jail, but the real damage was to the family's reputation and their already fragile relationships. The financial pressure of all these scandals and legal fights was crushing. Hulk's 2009 divorce from Linda was especially brutal, with Linda receiving a huge share of their assets and Hulk claiming the settlement nearly ruined him financially. The divorce was full of bitter accusations, including Linda's claims that Hulk had several affairs, one allegedly with Brooke's friend Christy on plant. Perhaps the most unsettling scandal wasn't even about Hulk's public behavior, but about his private conduct within the family. Hogan had a pattern of questionable statements and actions that many found inappropriate. In 2013, he tweeted a photo of himself rubbing lotion on Brooke's legs, which critics found disturbing. While small compared to his other controversies, it fit a pattern of crossing boundaries that Brooke would later reference in her abuse allegations. There were also long-standing rumors about Hogan's steroid use. In 1994, during Vince McMahon's federal steroid trial, Hogan admitted to using anabolic steroids for 14 years, contradicting earlier denials on the Arsenio Hall show and damaging his credibility as a supposed role model. The impact of all these scandals was devastating. Each one chipped away at the Hogan family's image and increased the stress and dysfunction inside the household. For Brooke, who was trying to build a music and entertainment career, constantly being tied to her father's controversies became a heavy burden. Hogan's attempt to dismiss his racist rants as just a glitch and his insistence that people knew he wasn't racist showed a deep failure to understand the pain his actions caused, especially for Brooke, who had been the target of much of his anger. These scandals didn't just hurt Hogan's public reputation, they created the toxic environment Brooke later described in her emotional Instagram posts. The endless media attention, court battles, money problems, and family drama all contributed to the abusive dynamic that led Brooke to cut ties with her parents and focus on breaking the cycle for her own children. The most powerful message, however, didn't come in March 2025, but in July. Just days after Hulk Hogan's death on July 24, 2025, as the wrestling world grieved the loss of their icon, Brooke Hogan prepared to share her final and the most emotional statement about her father. On July 29, 2025, Brooke posted a heartfelt tribute on Instagram, addressing the years-long rift while honoring her father's memory. The timing was telling. She found out about her father's death not through a phone call or family gathering, but through a text message from her brother Nick to her husband Steven. This small detail showed just how deep the estrangement had grown. But Brooke's final message was not just anger or bitterness, it was layered, emotional, and revealed the complicated love and pain she still carried for her father.